Okay, people, let's do it. I went and I'm gonna do it for you. Now, mind me, it's a little shaky because I'm holding my tablet, recording this. But I'm gonna play something for y'all. We're gonna go through a little video right here. As you see the name of it, hold on, let me put my screen a little better for y'all. So get that glare out. Okay, as you see, what does that say there? Moses, the king of Cush, the book of what? Jasher, 72. So you see where to find it, right? Moses, the king of Cush. Cush is what? Africans, correct, right? African kings. And Cush is the land of Africa, right? Cushites. Okay, let's see how this happens. Let's check something out. Let's go on this journey real quick so I can help y'all out to understand what this process is. Okay? Back it up a little. Press play.
Chapter 72 of the Book of Jasher. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. At that time that the war and the siege were against Cush, Moses fled from Egypt from Pharaoh, who sought to kill him for having slain the Egyptian. And Moses was 18 years old when he fled from Egypt from the presence of Pharaoh, and he fled and escaped to the camp of Kikianus, which at that time was besieging Cush. And Moses was 9 years in the camp of Kikianus, king of Cush, all the time that they were besieging Cush, and Moses went out and came in with them. And the king and princes and all the fighting men loved Moses, for he was great and worthy. His stature was like a noble lion, his face...
Okay, so we see, as soon as he gets exiled from Egypt, pardon the shakiness because I'm holding the thing because I don't have a stand for my laptop. But we see that he gets exiled from Egypt, and he goes where? To Cush. Doesn't say this in the Bible, right? That he goes over to the Cushites and whatever and dwells with them for 9 years, right? Shows that he's noble, humble, that he's a good man. So they accept him because they accept good things. They respect that. So they're like all blacks and Africans, they respect that. So they take him in, right? And he starts growing and building there. All right. Now, pardon me, people, I'm working off my phone as a remote because I've lost my remote.
His face was like the sun, and his strength was like that of a lion, and he was counselor to the king.
He was a good man, strong.
And at the end of 9 years, Kikianus was seized with a mortal disease, and his illness prevailed over him, and he died on the 7th.
But at this time, what other Africans, kings, with land, ruling kingdoms, as you see the picture that depicts what was going on at that time, Moses and his wife, the black woman, and you see the kings of Cush rolling, warring, going against other nations. So it wasn't no slaves. Africa was like, the African jungle where we had to walk around with no shoes. No, they was doing a thing.
So his servants embalmed him and carried him and buried him opposite the city gate to the north of the land of Egypt. And they built over him an elegant, strong, and high building, and they placed great stones below. And the king's scribes engraved upon those stones all the might of their king Kikianus, and all his battles which he had fought. Behold, they are written there at this day. Now after the death of Kikianus, king of Cush, it grieved his men and troops greatly on account of the war. So they said one to the other, Give us counsel. What are we to do at this time, as we have resided in the wilderness 9 years away from our homes? If we say we will fight against the city, many of us will fall wounded or killed, and if we remain here in the siege, we shall also die. For now all the kings of Aram and of the children of the east will hear that our king is dead, and they will attack us suddenly in a hostile manner, and they will fight.
Okay, so we see that after their king dies, right, they're indecisive on who should they make as a king. And now they're warring with other nations, of course, probably of their own kind and of other European kinds. They're getting bombarded both ways under siege. See, this is where all the racism and mix-up starts, right here. And what I'm going to show you here is from the book of Jasher, right there to show you the mentality and what the takeover was about. It wasn't only about Egypt. It was about taking over the whole black race. Watch. You're going to see from Moses' own mouth. I don't play. Y'all know I don't play.
Fight against us and leave no remnant of us. Now therefore let us go and make a king over us, and let us remain in the siege until the city is delivered up to us. And they wished to choose on that day a man for king from the army of Kikianus. And they found no object of their choice like Moses to reign over
So
them.
Moses
And
stands
they
out.
hastened and stripped off each man his garments and cast them upon the ground, and they made a great heap.
So for some reason, Moses stands out amongst these men. Now, mind you, today we see in the world when it comes to warrior status, strong strength, fighting, Africans are someone you would choose. We win in sports and all type of that, But to lead us, for some reason, this book of Jasher says that we need another king. Look at the color of Moses, even though this is depicted art. Look at the color of Moses. You know what I'm saying? And look at the queen. The Africans and Moses is not. And this is one of the reasons why they separate. So it's true. Moses is not an African. So I don't know where the Hebrew Israelites get that we are them, but we're going to see the mentality of Moses and who they want to follow and support.
And placed Moses thereon. And they rose up
So
and
they
blew
let
with trumpets
Moses
and
run
called
them
out
and rule
before
them.
him,
Rule
and
number
said,
one,
May the
mistake
king
number
live,
one.
may the king live. And all the people and nobles swore unto
Mistake number one, you gave the man your power. This has been the problem of black people and still to this day. Giving others their power instead of electing your own.
him to give him for a wife Adoniah the queen, the Cushite wife of Kikianus, and they made Moses king over them on that day.
Okay.
And all the people of Cush issued a proclamation on that day, saying, Every man must give something to Moses of what is in his possession.
Now, mind you, you see the reason they're giving Moses the power, though, because of his actions, his strength, his wisdom. He's taking over the kingdom with his wisdom. Okay, where's this wisdom coming from? Where's this wisdom coming from? Because Moses just got exiled, right? Does it say that he meant Yahweh? Does it say that he meant the burning bush yet? No, he gets exiled, and what does he do? Go right here to Cush. This is the book of Jasher. This is referenced by the Bible, by King David. So he goes to Cush before he does all of this. But for some reason, you're going to see Moses seems to know all the history of who he is and where he's coming from and what he has to do. How does he know that? Is he being sent here? Let's see.
And they spread out a sheet upon the heap, and every man cast into it something of what he had, one a gold earring, and the other a coin.
So they all got
also
their bread
of
together
onyx
to
stones,
give Moses their
stallions,
king
pearls,
some
and
money
marble
and
did
some
the children
riches.
of Cush cast unto
Something
Moses upon the heap.
Okay.
Also silver and gold in great abundance.
We trust
And
you.
Moses
Here's
took
our
all
jewelry.
the
Here's
silver
our
and
money.
gold,
Just
all
like
the
today.
vessels and the bdellium and the onyx stones, which all the children of Cush had given to him, and he placed them
See, they gave them all their jewelry. They went and got up all their money. Said, "This is for our king. Go do your thing. Make the decisions for us." Just like we do today. We pay our taxes. We do all this crap, and we tell some people, random people that are not from our race, or whatever. Go ahead, make our decisions for us.
amongst his treasures. And Moses reigned over the children of Cush on that day in the place of Kikianus, king of Cush. Chapter 73 of the Book of Jasher. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain.
Now check this out.
Chapter 73.
It's going to blow your mind.
In the 55th year of the reign of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, that is in the 157th year of the Israelites going down into Egypt, reigned Moses.
Okay, so the Israelites are already in slavery, right? Because Moses gets exiled, right? So the Israelites are in their 100 and something year of slavery in Egypt.
In Cush. Moses was 27 years old when he began to reign over Cush.
Okay, so Moses left 18. Moses, 10 years later, basically is the king now of his own fucking people. He comes to another part of Africa and begins the kingdom of his own people while his people are being slaved by another part of Africa. Okay, now we're going to see the mentality of what his reasoning is on all this.
40 years did he reign. And the Lord granted Moses favor and grace in the eyes of all the children of Cush, and the children of Cush loved him exceedingly. So Moses was favored by the Lord and by men.
Okay, that's a big statement. So Moses was favored by someone who was favored by God in the eyes of the black people. They're even thinking that Moses is favored by God because of his wisdom and his strength of fighting, the way he has all his tactics, which he learned from Egypt. You learned this from Egypt, from other black people. You know what I'm saying? But now he seems wise and king-wise, whatever. So he comes and takes over the lower black nations that are kings that want to get rid of Egypt, right? So boom, now he rules there for 40 years or whatever. So all this time in this wilderness, we thought Moses just walking around in the wilderness like the Bible says. Moses is really actually leading an African clan as a king with a black wife, giving him wisdom and knowledge of their own kind of people in a different way, though, mixed in with what he's entangled with that the spirit of evil that he's entangled with that's controlling him. I'm gonna show you. It's gonna sit right here. I'm sorry, I'm gonna get to the point, but I gotta keep stopping and playing it for the copyright.
And in the 7th day of his reign, all the children of Cush assembled and came before Moses and bowed down to him to the ground. And all the children spoke together in the presence of the king, saying, Give us counsel, that we may see what is to be done to the city.
Now they came and bowed down to Moses. All these people, black people, you have bowed down to another race of man, and you have given him your power. And now you're doing what you should do to a God. But the Africans don't follow Yahweh. They don't believe in that, what he believes in. You know what I'm saying? So obviously these people are non-knowledgeable of who's who at whatever. But they bowed down to a man, right? Okay, even though not to bow to a man was known afterwards, supposedly.
For it is now 9 years that we have been besieging around about the city, and we have not seen our children and our wives. So the king answered them, saying, If you will hearken to my voice in all that I shall command you, then will the Lord give the city into our hands, and we shall subdue it. For if we fight with them, as in the former battle which we had with them before the death of Kikianus, many of us will fall down wounded as before. Now therefore, behold, here is counsel for you in this matter. If you will hearken.
Now all of a sudden Moses is a god now. Moses says the Lord will give us the battle if we do this, if we fight them this way, if you hearken, listen to my voice. Now Moses is taking control as a god and a man, you know what I'm saying, and the king. Wow, what a takeover over just wisdom, just being smart. Well, let's see.
To my voice, then will the city be delivered into our hands. So all the forces answered the king, saying, All that our Lord shall command, that will we do.
Go fight against our own brothers.
And Moses said unto them, Pass through and proclaim a voice in the whole camp unto all the people, saying, Thus says the king, Go into the forest and bring with you of the young ones of the stork, each man a young one in his hand. And any person transgressing the word of the king, who shall not go bring his young one, he shall die. And the king will take all belonging to him. And when you shall bring them, they shall be in your keeping. You shall rear them until they grow up, and you shall teach them to dart upon, as is the way of the young ones of the hawk. So all the children of Cush heard the words of Moses, and they rose up and caused a proclamation to be issued throughout the camp, saying, Unto you, all the children of Cush, the king's order is that you go all together to the forest, and catch there the young storks, each man his young one in his hand, and you shall bring them home. And any person violating the order of the king shall die, and the king will take all that belongs to him.
So Moses tells these kids, get up and go out there and find storks and stuff, because whatever his reasoning is, he's about to show you, And if you don't find the ones or whatever, I'm telling you to find and bring them home and rear them up and make them this way, you're going to die, and I'm going to take everything from you and kill you. Wow, that's okay. First of all, I don't care what the situation is or how it was back then or whatever. We all know that is wicked. Evil to do. I don't care what you source, but we're gonna see his reign of thinking, and let's see if he really cares about these kids. Because even though the strategy he's using for what he needs to be done is the good strategy, dang, though, you don't have to threaten these kids with life or death, do you? That sounds like a tactic of someone I know. Yahweh, their use of Yahweh that the Jews use of Yahweh to say that he's this wicked, evil God that uses death and torture to kill. Even children. These are children he's sending out there, threatening them with death. Can you do that today? No, you can't. All right, let's see.
And all the people did so, and they went out to the wood, and they climbed the fir trees, and caught each man a young one in his hand, all the young of the storks, and they brought them into the desert, and reared them by the order of the king, and they taught them to dart upon, similar to young hawks. And after the young storks were reared, the king ordered them to be hungered for 3 days, and all the people did so. And on the 3rd day the king said unto them, Strengthen yourselves, and become valiant men, and put on each man his armor, and gird on his sword upon him, and ride each man his horse, and take each his young stork in his hand. And we will rise up and fight against the city at that place where the serpents are. And all the people did as the king had ordered. And they took each man his young one in his hand, and they went away. And when they came to the place of the serpents, the king said to them, Send forth each man his young stork upon the serpents. And they sent forth each man his young stork at the king's order.
Now this is weird. He says that they sent, what is that? He said that they sent the storks. Go to the place of the serpents. The place of the serpents. What do you mean the place of the serpents? Okay, he might be talking about literal serpents here. He might be talking about what the pharaohs and them worship, right? Because don't they put the serpents on their heads? See, I believe the king of Cush, I think they have the frogs on theirs. I don't know, but the kings of Pharaoh, them, they put the serpents, right? So go to the place of the serpents. That's a little, subliminal, a little weird there, but who knows what it could mean. Let's see. But let's get on to it. Like I said, I got to keep stopping it, and I'm using my phone as a remote, so I got to keep logging it.
And the young storks ran upon the serpents, and they devoured them all, and destroyed them out of that place. And when the king and people had seen all the serpents were destroyed in that place, all the people set up a great shout. And they approached and fought against the city, and took it and subdued it,
So
and they entered the city.
The serpents owned the
and
city.
there died on that day 1,100 men of the people of the city, all that inhabited the city. But of the people besieging, not
men.
one died. So all the children of Cush went each to his home, to his wife and children, and to all belonging to him.
That was a weird
And
story,
Balaam the magician, when he saw that the city was taken, he opened the gate, and he and his 2 sons and 8 brothers fled and returned to Egypt, to Pharaoh, king of Egypt. They are the sorcerers and magicians who are mentioned in the book of the law, standing against Moses when the Lord...
So when the sorcerers and magicians of Pharaoh, which were normal back in these days to have sorcerers. Notice all the sorcery and magicianry. You don't think brainwashing is going on? You don't think a lot of, controlling of imagery and stuff is going on here with sorcery, right? That's what sorcery is. So they go back and they tell their Pharaoh what happened.
Brought the plagues upon Egypt. So Moses took the city by his wisdom, and the children of Cush placed him on the throne instead of Kikianus, king.
What is that? What is that here? Listen to this.
The children of Cush went each to his home, to his wife and children, and to all belonging to him. And Balaam the magician, when he saw that the city was taken, he opened the gate, and he and his 2 sons and 8 brothers fled and returned to Egypt, to Pharaoh, king of Egypt.
Now, it doesn't tell you in the Bible Balaam, does it? Balaam is someone that's in the New Testament that goes against Jesus, right? But Balaam now is the one that the magician that's watching what Moses and the Cushites did. Let's see, though. Listen to this.
They are the sorcerers and magicians who are mentioned in the book of the law, standing against Moses when the Lord brought the plagues upon Egypt. So Moses took the city by his wisdom, and the children of Cush placed him on the throne instead of Kikianus, king of Cush. And they placed the royal crown upon his head, and they gave him for a wife Adoniah, the Cushite queen, wife of Kikianus. And Moses feared the Lord God of his fathers, so that he came not to her, nor did he turn his eyes to her. For Moses remembered how Abraham had made his servant Eliezer swear, saying unto him, Thou shalt not take a woman from the daughters of Canaan for my son Isaac. Also what Isaac did when Jacob had fled from his brother, when he commanded him, saying, Thou shalt not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan, nor make alliance with any of the children of Ham.
Okay, stop. So we see racism starting here, right here. Racism. This is where racism starting. Do not. Abraham, Jewish black men, Jewish Hebrew Israelites that think we're all the Jews. Your great Abraham told him, do not marry those Cushite, those blacks, basically, sons of Noah, do not marry any of them. What did he say? Why did he say that? Why did Isaac continue on with his son? Do not marry none of them. Do not take none. Why? Okay, let's see why. Isn't that weird? Moses, who was told at first not to do this, who seems to remember all the history of Abraham. You was just exiled, right, from Egypt, right? But you remember all this history of your people now for some reason about them and Abraham and what they did when you was just a baby floating up a Nile, raised up by the Egyptians. How? But this book is saying that. So let's see. Let's continue to listen to the mentality of racism and how it started.
For the Lord our God gave Ham, the son of Noah, and his children and all his seed as slaves to the children of Shem.
Whoa, what, Moses? Are you serious, Moses? What did Moses say?
For my son Isaac. Also what Isaac did when Jacob had fled from his brother, when he commanded him, saying, Thou shalt not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan, nor make alliance with any of
We
the
don't
children
want
of
you with
Ham.
black women.
For the Lord our God gave Ham, the son of Noah, and his children and all his seed as slaves to the children of Shem,
Wow,
and to the
really?
children of Japheth, and unto their seed after them for slaves forever.
Dang.
Therefore,
So your God is so torturous and so petty that because says Ham, after the world flooded and it's supposed to be nothing but righteousness here, Ham came in laughing at you drunk and naked. So you had cursed his grandson. You don't even curse him. You curse your grandson and forever curse all of his brothers and all of his ancestors forever to be slaves. And Moses is agreeing with that. Moses is really having issues with that right now with his black wife, who probably got some juicy lips, juicy booty, and all that. You know what I'm saying? Trying to be funny, but probably sexy with the eyes looking at him like, "What's up? Why you don't touch me?" He's like, "Man, I'm not supposed to. My God and my history says that you people are slaves to us forever, and I can't do this because you're slaves." You see this? Do you see this right here? Why is no one talking about this? Why is this not being talked about? This is the book of Jasher, yo. This was in the Bible. This is history. This is King David. I can show you with it what King David tells you to go look into this book. I can tell you what Samuel tells you to do the same thing, the book of Samuel. So why? Why is this not being spoke of about this heritage and how they started and how they went and conquered our people, using our people, molesting our people, taking everything from our people, and then all of a sudden becoming the gods and everything, even though our people, fooled by the foolery of the wizardry and wisdom that he got from his evil pagan god, let him and allowed him to be the king there. But let's see.
Moses turned not his heart nor his eyes to the wife of Kikianus all the days that he reigned over Cush.
So you the king and
And
just
Moses feared the
disrespecting
Lord
one
his
of our
God all
queens that
his
they
life,
gave you.
and Moses
Straight disrespecting one of the daughters that they feel they gave you as a queen. You don't want to touch her because she's slave peasant to you. Come on, man. Y'all for real?
walked before the Lord in truth with all his heart and soul. He turned not from the right way
But
all the
black
days
people,
of
we
his
the
life.
Jews though.
He declined not from the way either to the right or to the left in which Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob had walked.
So he ain't going
And
there. I'm not
Moses
going with
strengthened
them. I'm
himself in
staying
the
with my
kingdom of the
kind. I'm not messing with them, even though they kicked me out over there. And I'm here for defending my kind. I'm out here now, and these people that took me in and actually put me up because of my wisdom and my goodness and made me king. It's only my God giving them into me because, like he said in the scriptures, they're going to be our slaves anyway. So I'm just going to have them here. But we agree with this, right? Now, because we see right today, we got these Hebrew Israelite people saying that, yeah, that is us. It's us. It's us. That's us. They stole our heritage. Come on, man. Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you kidding me?
Children of Cush, and he guided the children of Cush with his usual wisdom. And Moses prospered in his kingdom.
His usual wisdom.
And at that time, Aram and the children of the east heard that Kikianus, king of Cush, had died. So Aram and the children...
mind you, all together... Now, I'm just using this book again. Let's get this clear. I am using this book, which was a book of the Bible, which is mentioned and referenced in the Bible by one of your heroes, King David and Samuel, right? Mentioned in the Bible. Okay, this book is referenced to go look at for records, for keeping of records. This is also still Jewish, Israelite propaganda of a to control and influence the history to make you think you were meant to be a slave and that no, we are superior to you from our own wisdom and thinking, which is not true at all. It's all magic, witchcraft, and wizardry, which is what they use today as well with technology. Listen, people, wake up, stop the buffoonery, stop the foolery, saying things like we are these people. We are not. We are our own people. So if we are them, who were the Egyptians? Who were the king of Cush? Who were the Aramites? Who were these people? Not the Aramites. Who were these other people, though? These other kings. Where were they if they were not Hebrews? Because we see Moses is a Hebrew and they are not. What are they and what are you? You answer that for me before you tell me about Alua, Ahua, Alua. Because remember, they're still going off of a stolen history. This history about the blacks being the slaves and what happened with Noah, that is not true. That is from a evil race of people who are using an old God who wasn't nice in the first place, but they're using his legacy to act like he was still alive at the time and putting the people with melanin under their control. Wake up.
Children of the east rebelled against Cush in those days. And Moses gathered all the children of Cush, a people very mighty, about 30,000 men. And
see, people are rebelling against him now. They're rebelling against him because they're like, listen, who are you to allow this man to be king here? Who you allow these people to come in here and become kings of our land? We know you got your own kingdom and all that, but what is you got going on over there? Check it out.
Went forth to fight with Aram and the children of the east. And they went at first to the children of the east, and when the children of the east heard their report, they went to meet them and engaged in battle with them.
Like your king
And the
is
war
dead
was
all this
severe
time?
against the children of the east. So the Lord gave all the children of the east into the hand of Moses.
Whoa,
and about
look at that,
300
though.
men fell down slain.
See how that goes? Their demon god, their demon witchcraft and stuff works with them to get people to fall in battle into their hands. This is their whole story of their Bible as well. They carried their little ark, did their rituals with gold and wood, and made these little electric technologies that helped them win battles. And this is the knowledge that was being instilled in Moses because of the wicked energy that he's working with. And they let this man overtake them and use these powers against their own kind. And just because they're winning, they're happy about that. It's like you find a group of black people today who don't care, keep dangling that money in my face. We're going to do whatever. That's what's going on in Africa right now, forever. So then Moses was just one of the pioneers of this. And then when it happens, boom, now they start beating their own people, right? And Moses is getting still more reverence as a king because, yes, he is doing all of this for us. Watch.
And all the children of the east turned back and retreated. So Moses and the children of
Chased
Cush
them down.
followed them and subdued them.
Get them.
And
We
put
want
a
their
tax
money.
upon
Get
them,
their money.
as was their custom.
Mm-hmm.
So Moses and all the people with him
Good war
passed
tactics,
from there
okay.
to the land of Aram for battle. And the people of Aram also went to meet them, and they fought against them, and the Lord delivered them into the hand of Moses. And many of the men of Aram
Now,
fell.
if you don't believe what I'm saying on this issue, now, am I wrong? Did Moses not go there with witchcraft to fight, making snakes off of poles and all that stuff, to make frogs in the water? Okay, so we see wizardry and witchcraft was knowledgeable in his mind and what he knew of whoever he was dealing with. He was in tune with witchcraft. We know that with spells and different type of sorcery. So we don't know what was going on, what he used as a power to beat other nations, and who he was really forced that he was rolling with for this takeover.
Down wounded. And Aram also were subdued by Moses and the people of Cush, and also gave their usual tax. And Moses brought Aram and the children of the east under subjection to the children of Cush. And Moses and all the people who were with him turned to the land of Cush. And Moses strengthened himself in the kingdom of the children of Cush, and the Lord was with him. And all the children of Cush were afraid of him. Chapter 76 of the book of Jasher. This LibriVox.
Why are the children of Cush afraid of him? Now, first it was we put you as king, revered you, made you because of your law, your good works and your wisdom. But now we're afraid of you. Let's see why.
Recording is in the public domain. And Moses, the son of Amram, was still king in the land of Cush in those days, and he prospered in his kingdom, and he conducted the government of the children of Cush in justice, in righteousness,
just like
and
America.
integrity.
Just
and all
like
the
America.
children of Cush loved Moses all the days that he reigned over them, and all the inhabitants of the land of Cush were greatly afraid of him. And in the 40th year of the reign of Moses over Cush,
so they had this love and this reverent fear of him, which you think you would have like of a god or your father, right? Like, oh, I love my dad and I fear him respectfully, right? Okay, cool. Let's see if it's that type of fear or that type of love.
Moses was sitting on the royal throne, whilst Adoniah the queen was before him, and all the nobles were sitting around him.
His wife is unsatisfied.
And Adoniah the queen said before the king and the princes, "What is this thing which you, the children of Cush, have done for this long time? Surely you know that for 40 years that this man has reigned over Cush, he has not approached me, nor has he served the gods of the children of Cush. Now therefore, hear, O ye children of Cush, and let this man no more reign over you, as he is not of our flesh. Behold, Menacrus, my son, is grown up. Let him reign over you. For it is better for you to serve the son of your Lord than to serve a stranger, a slave of the king of Egypt." And all the people and nobles of the children of Cush heard the words which Adoniah the queen had spoken in their ears. And all the people were preparing until evening, and in the morning they rose up early and made Menacrus.
Look, stop. Did you hear that? His wife, the queen, after 40 years, she's like, yo, listen, why are y'all trusting this man? First of all, he is not of our flesh. What that mean? He's not of our flesh. He is not even of our flesh. He does not worship our gods. You don't even come from this land where we worship what we worship. You're bringing in some new gods, whatever. This man hasn't even touched me because he thinks I'm a slave and he thinks we're petty to him. He thinks we're peasants. Why are you guys still worshiping this man? Get rid of him. Listen, at least let our son. My son is older now. He's been something between him and him. Yeah, okay. He got some of him in him, but at least he has our flesh in him. Let him reign. It's better for us for him than to have this one here. Look at that mentality his wife had. Had to convince them and snap them back out of the funk that Moses had them in. Look at that. Crazy, huh? Crazy. But you don't never hear nothing about this being preached in no churches. You don't hear nothing about this ever being said anywhere. Let's go on.
Chris, the son of Kikianus, king over them. And all the children of Cush were afraid to stretch forth their hand against Moses, for the Lord was with Moses. And the children of Cush remembered the oath which...
Now, mind you, they keep saying this in their book. The Lord was with Moses. This is a book of Jasher. Every time they say the Lord was with Moses, and it's a lie. It's falsehood. So that you later on, like today, me and you can read these books and feel like the Lord had Moses' back and it was us that was wrong. This is all false. They were using the name of Yahweh from old ancient Babylonian tablets when they were in the lion's den where Daniel was studying all the Babylonian libraries. They used that and they controlled it and came up with their way of controlling the world and taking the black people with melanin under by making them look like slaves forever. So this is the book of Jasher, but yet it's still giving you truthful details and it's giving you the full-fledged details on the mentality and personality of this Moses that everyone reveres as someone special and godly.
They swore unto Moses. Therefore, they did no harm to him. But the children of Cush gave many presents to Moses and sent him from them with great honor. So Moses went forth from the land of Cush and went home and ceased to reign over Cush. And Moses was 66 years old when he went out of the land of Cush.
So, okay. Moses, they don't want to argue with you. Look, Moses, you got to go, bro. We got you. We understand you did a lot of good for us and brought some riches and value here. But the queen is right. You ain't from us. You don't worship our gods. You're spreading your new spread of what's what. We don't want that to be our way of life. We want to continue what we were doing because we were good. We were happy. You came and we had some battles, some wars, and you gave us war tactics on how to kill and murder. And your wisdom of that, your wisdom of murder and death and how to reign as a made us put you up there. But the queen is right. And plus, what? We didn't know you wasn't touching her and having sex with our queen, looking at her as a slave. Damn, bro, you got to go. We trying to be this peacefully, bro. We don't want no smoke. Just go ahead, bro. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that went. You know what I mean? That's how that went. And it's really crazy today to see the same formulas taking place. You know what I mean? And we revere these people when we go to church and read about them and say, Moses, look what Moses did. But we don't say nothing about this. And this is all history. This is removed from the Bible. Why do you think this was removed? But yet they messed up by still mentioning it. See, the truth is always going to come out to the light. It's hidden in the Bible. It's there. You wouldn't notice it like you don't notice half the things about the killing and the murdering that they're doing in the Bible right in front of your face. But this is really hidden. You won't even catch it if you don't really take studying seriously. But when you do, when you go find this book and you search, what can they say about this? This is a real book. It's there. You cannot hide this. This is the history that the Bible is not telling you. Right? Don't you wonder when the Bible tell you Moses was exiled? He was just in 80 years in the desert, just until he bumped into a bush. Come on, man. Lo, this is the history. This is the truth. This is what he was doing. And look how this went. It was Yahweh. It was them still going into African lands and trying to conquer, divide and conquer.
The thing was from the Lord. For the period had arrived which he had appointed in the days of old to bring forth Israel from the affliction of the children of Ham. So Moses went to Midian, for he was afraid to return to Egypt.
What? To bring forth Israel from... That was his whole mission, to bring forth Israel from the hand of the children of Ham. So the children of Ham were cursed by Noah and said that they're going to be slaves. But all of a sudden have the power and the knowledge and the wisdom and the kingdom that you got to run over to and beg to be fed and helped because of what's coming as a famine and all this. This is the same kingdom that's supposed to be slaves to their brother. All of a sudden you are the slaves to them. How is that? The Bible doesn't say nothing about that. You guys all of a sudden slaves to the kingdom that was cursed to be slave. that's supposed to be your slaves? And then Moses has to come and free y'all from them and make us slaves forever now. But in the process of coming to free them, being kicked out, sitting there, knowing what he's supposed to be doing already, while he's talking to his wife, I'm sorry, I can't be with you because you guys are supposed to be slaves. And I'm about to go free us slaves from the rest of your brothers, because that's the Ham, right? Those Egyptians are the children of Ham, right? Us, right? Us. Huh. Yeah. Why is no one speaking about this? So you Hebrew Israelites out there, please stop it, yo. Stop telling the people that we are them. Stop wanting to be them. Stop trying to take that legacy, because it is not ours.